It's your favorite super duper mother daughter duo coming to you with all the positive vibes and helping you become exactly who you want to be. We're giving out all the good stuff on this podcast, and it's your host Tekoa and Sarah. So grab your mug because it's time for tea. Hi everyone, welcome back. It's time for tea. We are teaching, empowering, and applying. I'm Tekoa.
And I'm Sarah.
And today we're going to be talking about self-esteem. I'll go right into the definition. So self-esteem is regards for oneself, how much you think you're worth, how confident you are in yourself. It's basically self-respect. There's high self-esteem, low self-esteem. High self-esteem is having a healthy sense of oneself. Low self-esteem, total opposite. You kind of don't feel good about yourself. So let's get into what are the definitions of high versus low self-esteem. How do they look?
Okay, high self-esteem is a person that feels important, competent, powerful, and worthwhile about themselves. So this is the positive self-esteem.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and what about low?
Hold on. And low self-esteem. A person with low self-esteem often feels incompetent, unloved, and inadequate. So these are some of the feelings of people with low self-esteem.
Okay. Some of the signs of low self-esteem are sensitivity to criticism, social withdrawal, not wanting to be around people, hostility, worrying about your personal issues a lot, and physical symptoms such as depression, drug abuse, any type of abusive things, over consuming. So those are some of the signs of what it looks like to have low self-esteem. Those are just some. There could be a variety of things, but that's just some of the things that people suffer with. What are some of the causes of self-esteem? Like, how do we get there?
Okay, some of the causes of low self-esteem is unhappy childhood where a parent or other significants were extremely critical.
Okay.
Poor academic performance in school resulting in a lack of confidence, and stressful life events such as relationship breakdown and financial trouble. So these are some of the causes, what can cause a low self-esteem.
Okay. And just like most of the other things we talked about, it sounds like it stems from childhood.
Yes.
So it starts early. I was reading an article and they were talking about when your kid is like, watch me jump off the bed. It's best to allow them to do that because that is how they learn their confidence. That's how they gain their confidence, is by experiencing things and learning that, it's okay. The outcome will be what it is and it's okay. Learning to be okay with expressing their emotions and not being criticized for them, learning to be accepted for who they are, learning it's okay that they're not the best at everything. So it really does stem with how we talk to our children in childhood.
Correct. Because in my psychology book, I read that young children generally have a very high self-esteem, likely due to encouragement they receive when learning a new task. So as they were younger, high self-esteem is in there. Like, your baby starts walking and they're feeling confident. They don't want you to hold their hands anymore. And they are feeling good about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know where in life it just sort of takes a turn down.
Well, I think it's society has these comparisons that we kind of compare ourselves to. Our family makes certain comments that maybe we can't do this. Who do you think you are? Then your social friends, the people you hang around, your social community, they'll say things that'll kind of bring you down, or maybe you want to do this particular thing. It goes back to being authentic, but nobody else is doing it, so you feel like I shouldn't do that. Maybe I'm like not as good, or I'm a weird person. So it kind of just, we pick up these thoughts about ourselves, from whether it's what someone told us or something that we ourselves adapted to. And I think that's where it starts to stem from. And unfortunately, those negative thoughts, they just follow us into adulthood and for the rest of our lives until we start to fight them with positive ones.
And that's what you really need to do, is fight them. Acknowledge that it's a thought, if it's a true thought that you had, or did you create? Was it true, or did you create it in your mind? Because when you have low self-esteem, you feel sorry for yourself. And when you feel sorry for yourself, it sort of ties into you being a victim. Woe is me. They don't like me. Everybody's talking about me. So when that happens, your guards are down, and you now feel like anything anyone says is critical, and anything anyone says, either it be good or bad, or for your good or bad, you take the offensive of it, versus, you know what, maybe this is helpful, maybe this information is to make me better, but you don't look at it and internalize it that way. It's more like, I'm being attacked. So, and that's because you already feel low, and you don't feel good about yourself. You don't feel whole, you don't feel complete, you don't feel full.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I'll go into the victim mentality for a moment. When you feel as though you're a victim, it's because you're putting the blame of what's going on in your life on everyone else, instead of taking full responsibility and knowing that you are capable of developing yourself in a positive way. You are capable of getting yourself out of any situation that you're into. You are capable of, having the power to make life whatever it is you want. But it's so much easier to push that onto other people. Oh, my boss was mean to me today, so I'm just not feeling good, or I'm just horrible at what I do. Whereas my boss was mean to me today, I can start looking for a different job. I could do this task 1000% better than anyone else. Let me speak that into myself because I know it to be true. My boss was mean because maybe his wife had an attitude this morning. Start looking at things in a different perspective rather than that woe is me mentality, which stems from, having that low self-esteem and not having that belief in yourself that you are in control. So usually people with high self-esteem, they're powerful people. They like to make moves. They're confident in themselves and their abilities. And that confidence comes from going through things and knowing that they can come out of those things. Experiencing trials, experiencing tribulations, and knowing that no matter what, I will triumph. That attitude, just that shift in perspective, is so powerful. So just to touch on the victim mentality for a second, and why we choose to do that. Going back into negative thinking when it comes to a low self-esteem, I always tell my clients, who lied to you? When you think of something negative, and I'm not smart, I can't make money, I'm not pretty, who lied to you? Who told you that? And is there a way that you can tell yourself something different constantly? Is there a way you can affirm the total opposite constantly? And I think I talked about this exercise before. If you think something like, I'm not smart, counteract that with the most amazing, affirmation ever. I'm extremely intelligent. I'm a genius. I'm on Einstein level if I allow myself to now. I am constantly learning and taking in new information. I am abundant in money. I am capable of doing anything and everything I put my mind to. I am resourceful. So start to combat those things with positive, mind-blowing affirmations that will definitely shift your perspective of yourself. And you have to do it consistently, and always ask yourself, who lied to me? Who told me that I wasn't worth anything? Who told me I wasn't enough? Who told me that I wasn't capable of doing these things? And move from there. Okay. So just that touches on the causes of self-esteem and some of the signs, and dealing with the negative thinking, getting out of that victim mentality. Now, let's talk about our experiences with self-esteem, our personal experiences. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. So I have a fairly high self-esteem. I know that anything I put my mind to, I can accomplish, but then it's just a matter of, well, what do I put my mind to? You know? So my self-esteem is attributed to me doing things and accomplishing things. Me hitting the mark, when I apply myself and being great. My self-esteem, though, diminishes greatly when I am not compassionate towards myself. So I would say, just as much as we have to have a high self-esteem for ourselves, we have to pair that with compassion. because when I lose compassion for myself, when I am hard on myself and you haven't done anything this week, what are you doing? Then I can trickle into depression because I'm putting so much on myself. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a difference between knowing your worth, and then knowing that you are worthy of time off, you are worthy of relaxation, you are worthy of balance.
Mm-hmm.
So my self-esteem is so high to the point that I put so much on myself,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm no longer compassionate towards myself. I'm either overworking myself or underworking myself because I'm in a rut now. So I have to gain that balance. So I would say self-esteem is important, but I also want us to throw into the picture self-compassion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so knowing that you might not be the best at everything, but you're still worthy of some things.
Correct.
Knowing that you might not have all that you want right now, but those are things that you can attain with hard work, and they don't come overnight. And to be patient with yourself, knowing that your life journey is your life journey. I also, with my high self-esteem, I have like a superhero complex, I would say, where I feel as though I'm sent to save the world.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, you definitely have to have compassion with yourself, because you're always wondering what's next. What can I do next? Who am I supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
saving next? Where am I supposed to be? But I'm putting so much on myself that there's no room for falter. There's no room for relaxation. There's no room for self-love and self-care. So yeah, having a high self-esteem is great. Believing in yourself is wonderful, but also be compassionate enough to know that you don't have all the answers. You are dealing with past trauma, you are growing as a person, and you are
Mm-hmm.
developing as an individual, and that takes time, and whatever you're looking for is not going to happen overnight. So be confident, be wonderful, be the hero that you want to be for everyone else, but also be the hero for yourself. Be patient with yourself. Okay, so I wanted to talk on that, on self-compassion.
And be forgiving, and be forgiving to yourself.
And be forgiving, because a lot of what we don't talk about is those people who are so full of themselves, the leaders that we fall in love with and we follow, they're hard on themselves, you
Yeah,
know.
they have things going on with them, so they're also dealing with all kinds of issues, like all of us.
Yep. So we look at them and we look up to them, and we strive to be like these people who are so focused on their goals, but we don't see the full picture. They're extremely hard on themselves.
They're like,
They're
they're jacked up like us.
Yeah, they're struggling with depression because they're
Mhm,
not being compassionate towards
mhm,
themselves. They have all of these expectations they're placing on themselves, all these things they know they can do,
mhm.
but they're not being easy on themselves. So we have to take a step back. It's famous people all the time who commit suicide, and you're like, what? Why? They just They just made me laugh the other day. They just put up a
Yeah,
tweet, but we don't know the mental battles that they're dealing with.
correct,
So high self-esteem is important, but having too much of a high self-esteem, you put too many demands on yourself, and that can drive you crazy as well. So I want you to find that balance
correct.
of not having a low self-esteem, definitely believing yourself, but believing yourself, but have compassion. Okay, that's something I just wanted to touch on. So you can give us your personal struggles with self-esteem, your personal stories, your growth
Okay,
process.
let me just say this. This particular topic was, and still is, very emotionally hard for me. You know, we have done a few of these different podcasts. This one sort of hit me in a gut of so many emotions that were not good. So what I'm going to say is, so I suffered from low self-esteem. And, as I was researching this thing really took a toll on me, because, when you start seeing yourself on paper, when you start seeing yourself in the reflection of a psychologist's book, and you're like, ooh, that's me. So, the thing that I saw that really sort of shook me was feeling incompetent, feeling unloved, feeling inadequate. Those are all the things from childhood that I have felt. And it was like, wow. Um, you know, it's almost seeing that man in the mirror kind of thing. You got to see who you really are. And then you're like Tekoa said, you're reflecting back, like, where did this come from? And then you relate it back to childhood, not putting blame on my parents, because they did what they had to do. They were, they raised us the best that they knew. But that was, that not having whatever it is, that not having for a person to make you feel important, competent, and powerful, those things that a child should be, you should breathe into your child, what I didn't have. So, you go through life and I'm like, this is almost depressing, to the point that, I had to like listen to, thank God I have a greater power. My help cometh from the Lord. So even if I feel like I was a person that was broken, I had to speak affirmation, and I did it today on my drive to my to where I was going. I am whole. I am complete. I am enough, because I had to flip that thing around to feel that, despite of what I lacked growing up, I can still change my journey. I could still change my future. I can still change my today. And I know that I am better today than I was yesterday. I know I am, above versus beneath. But, this particular subject really hit me, because when you start researching, you start self-reflecting. When you start doing these types of things, you start looking not out, you start looking in, and you're like, whoa. So, thank God that I do have my daughter, people around me now, that my mother's wonderful, and she's encouraging. But thank God I have that now to build me up and to not get so far down that I'm in a hole where I'm sort of like speaking myself out of feeling defeated.
Inadequate.
Yeah, inadequate. Well, defeated in the sense that you look at yourself and you're like, wow, I lack this. You look at your life and you're like, all these things that you're telling me, what is low self-esteem? Why is it? What is it and what it does? And you look at yourself like, that's all me. Mm-hmm. All of those things. No, let me say that's all me. That was me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna change that conversation, that statement around. That was me. It was me. So it's it is what it is, but you fight through it, and that's what I'm going to do, because I'm a fighter.
And hearing you talk about it and telling your story about finding that healing through, finding your definition and realizing, hey, this is what's going on with me. Mm-hmm. But finding your healing through it all, rather than leaning into that victim mentality, because you definitely have a choice. We all have a choice. We all have a path we can take. And you could have took the woe is me, all my parents failed me, my life sucked path, but instead you took the I'm going to speak life into me regardless. I'm a better person today than I was, because of my childhood. I grew into a better person. So you took the better, the higher route, and that's appreciated. It really exemplified how easy it is to fall victim, to have the woe is me.
Yeah. And not and let you all know truth. I want to be open to you all. So you have to understand that changing my mind took a few hours, took a day and a half, because it was like a blow to me, and it was like, whoa. But I gave myself time to like lean into the pain, and I gave myself time to get out of it. Mm-hmm. So you have to give yourself time to feel that thing, because you're human and you have the right to feel it, but you also have the power and the right to get out of it. So that's where it's important. Don't stay in it. Get yourself out of it. Mm-hmm. Feel it, and then feel the victory of getting out of it. So,
and reflecting on low self-esteem, I did want to touch on women who have low self-esteem and who deal with looking for that sense of self-worth through male companions or through a female companion, but who look for that in companionship. And then we end up falling into these toxic relationships and thinking that this is love because we don't value ourselves. So, and we touched on toxic relationships before, but I just wanted to mention that low self-esteem will lead you to some places you were never meant to be because you have a lower sense of self-worth. So you're
Definitely.
vibrating low and you end up in these toxic situations, and something inside of you tells you that this isn't right, but then there's another side of you telling you that this is all I have right now, that's giving me a sense of appreciation, that's giving me a sense of affirmation, and I'm going to hold on to this. So it could be as simple as somebody saying, hey, you look good, and you not having experienced that through your childhood, from your parents, from your family structure, from your friend circles, you not having
Mhm.
experienced that compliment, it touches you in a way that makes you feel as though you're worthy now. From you not telling yourself that you're worthy, when someone else comes along and puts that in you, you automatically gravitate towards that person no matter what they come with.
Correct. And
you know
they're coming with something.
they're coming with, it could be trash, it could be treasure, but whatever they're coming with, you're gravitating towards them because of how they make you feel in that moment. And because you're not getting that on a daily, you're not getting that gratification, then you're
Mhm.
able to feel as though they're saving you, as if they're your hero, but really
Mhm.
they could be your demise. So
Correct.
that low self-esteem will lead you to places you're not supposed to be, leads you into relationships you never should have been in, leads you to pain you never should have gone through.
Yep.
You have to have a good sense of self-worth. And once you build your self-esteem, you know what happens when you build your self-esteem? You build your boundaries, you build your walls, you build what you will and will not settle for. And that is one of the most powerful things about self-esteem and your self-worth, is it comes with authenticity and knowing yourself, but then it also comes with the confidence of loving yourself and knowing that you are capable and willing, and you have everything that you need inside of you, and no one on the outside can complete you. So
Correct.
you're not looking for that compassion, you're not looking for that companionship, you're not searching for something that you won't find in anyone else anyway.
Correct.
So it's extremely important to have that self-esteem and sense of self-worth, especially before you go out into the world and look to date or find a companion, because then you're not settling. So I would say when you build your self-esteem, you build your boundaries, you build your walls, and all of those things are important. Okay, so let's get into the apply, because we're going to run short on time. So how can you deal with low self-esteem? Yeah, they went quick.
I know. Okay. So apply. Identifying troubling condition and situation. So identifying troubling situation, conditions and situation. Think of a certain condition and situation in your life that seems to always bring you low self-esteem. Okay, like your family dynamic.
Your
Um,
triggers.
yep, presentation. Your work presentation. Maybe a life-changing event in your life. So just start thinking and identifying trouble, condition, and situation that might trigger your low self-esteem. Be aware of your thoughts and your belief. Okay. Identify your thoughts and identify your thoughts about when have you felt your low self-esteem. How are you interpreting what happened? Your thought can be positive, negative, or neutral. And is your thought actually facts, or is it false ideas? Because remember, when you have low self-esteem, you start feeling victimized and you start hyping things up that really isn't true. So, trying to figure out, is this facts? Am I feeling this way? If someone says something to me, is it true, or am I just hyping it up and making it bigger than what it is? Okay. Challenge your negative or inaccurate thoughts. Is this correct? Am I really thinking? Why am I thinking this way? What happened, like I did in my past? What made me think this way? Why do I have this low self-esteem? Who did this to me? Was it me, or was it someone else? And so challenging that negative and inaccurate thoughts. Ask yourself, is it real or is it Memorex? So that's an old time saying. Change your mindset. Change your mindset. Know that you have the power to change your thought patterns and raise your self-esteem. So just like I said, I had to flip that thing around. I had to feel the pain because it's okay. Pain is meant to be felt. And then I had to change my mindset and start affirming myself and putting back into me what I just depleted out. So changing your mindset. You have the power. You are complete. You are whole. That's the things that you need to do to flip this thing around.
Yeah.
What do you have, T?
So I will touch again on the be compassionate towards yourself. I tell people all the time, you're not failing, you're just learning along the way. It's a journey. So if you do fail, don't let that be a big blow to your self-esteem. You're still capable. You're just learning along the way, and failure makes us better and more knowledgeable. Also, I would talk about, so comparing yourself to others. We say comparison is the thief of joy. You shouldn't compare yourself, but at the same time, comparison can boost your self-esteem. If you are trying to do something, be good at it. Give your best.
Put your best foot forward, please.
Give your best, and you will genuinely feel better about yourself. I did that. It's the achievement for me. So, start to put yourself in situations where you're going to do good. If you're an excellent drawer and an excellent artist, start drawing. And I can't draw, so you're better than me. So start to do things that you are good at that make you feel good. Stop doing what everyone else is doing and start to make your own lane, and that will help boost your self-esteem because no one can do what you do the way you do it.
Amen. That's true.
Yep. So start to be okay in your unique lane and dominate that thing. Don't fit into a box, fit into your own lane. Okay. And I think that pretty much wraps it up for self-esteem, confidence in your own worth or ability. So self-esteem is important. It's good to feel good about yourself. It determines your outcome in your world around you, what you settle for, what you don't settle for, if you achieve your goals, if you don't even try to achieve them, if you blame everyone, or if you take a power over your situation. Self-esteem is directly correlated to all of that. So it is very, very, very important. Be compassionate with yourself. Know that you are worthy. Speak life into yourself. Be okay with feeling the hurt, but don't stay in that hurt place.
Don't stay in it.
No, take your time to heal, and then it's time to get up and do what you need to do.
Brush it off.
Yep. Heal, then reveal.
I like that.
Yep. Heal, then reveal your new self. It's confidence for me. Okay. So love you guys. Love you. Comment below if you were struggling with self-esteem, if you had built yourself up from a hurt time, if you were in a relationship that happened because of your low self-esteem, how you learned to love yourself and care for yourself. Give us all your tips and tricks because we love to hear them. And we will see you all next time on Time for Tea. Adios. That's a wrap of today's episode. And once again, this is the podcast, Time for Tea, where we are teaching, empowering, and applying and giving out weekly doses of some good stuff for your spirit. Hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Same time, same place. Bye.